All right, let's dive right into a real clash of titans. In one corner, we've got Carl Jung's wise old man, the keeper of ancient truths. And in the other, Friedrich Nietzsche's philosopher of the future, a radical creator of entirely new worlds. Now, this isn't just some dusty old debate. This is a battle over what it means to find meaning itself. And that brings us to the big question that's going to frame this whole explainer. Is wisdom something you find, or is it something you have to forge? Is it some timeless truth that's already out there, just waiting for us to uncover it? Or is it something we have to hammer into existence with our own two hands, right up against the chaos of reality? Let's get into it. So let's properly meet our two contenders. First up, representing the preservation of all that ancestral knowledge, you have Jung's wise old man. Think of him as the sage, the guide, the one who remembers. And on the other side, representing the brutal creation of new values, we've got Nietzsche's philosopher of the future. This is the commander, the legislator, and the destroyer. Here's how we're going to break down this showdown. We'll look at 4 key battlegrounds, how they source their meaning, how they connect or don't connect to society, what they do to culture, and finally, what their ultimate goal for all of humanity really is. Okay, first round, guardian versus legislator. This one gets right to the absolute heart of the matter. For these two archetypes, where does meaning even come from in the first place? You see, for Carl Jung, the wise old man is a guardian. He doesn't make things up, he reveals what's already there. He's like a connection to this incredibly deep well of shared human wisdom, a fount of meaning. His whole job is to remind us of these eternal patterns, these laws of the spirit that have always been there, just hidden deep inside our collective unconscious. But Nietzsche's philosopher, he does the exact opposite. He's a legislator. He looks out at the world and doesn't see some beautiful, ordered pattern to uncover. He sees chaos. Total, meaningless chaos. And so he doesn't go looking for truth. No way. He uses his will to power to violently stamp his own law, his own meaning, right onto that chaos. He doesn't find meaning. He forges it. So you can really see the massive difference right here. The wise old man's job is all about passive discovery, finding what's already in the unconscious. The philosopher's job is all about active creation, making something brand new out of raw instinct. One is a seeker of truth, the other a commander of values. Totally different games. So let's see how that huge difference affects their relationship with the rest of us, with society. Are they a force that brings us together or one that tears us apart? Well, the wise old man is meant to be a stabilizing anchor. His entire purpose is to connect the individual, the I, to the collective, to the we. By rooting you in this shared human story, he gives you psychological stability. He's what keeps you from getting lost in the storm and pulls you back into the community. But for Nietzsche, that anchor isn't a safe harbor, it's a trap. His philosopher cultivates what he calls a pathos of distance. And that's a choice. A deliberate, even painful alienation from the so-called herd and its cozy traditions. He has to break every single anchor and go find solitude on new, dangerous paths, because greatness for him is never, ever found in the comfort of the crowd. So here's the bottom line. The Jungian sage is all about finding psychological wholeness by connecting you to the group. The Nietzschean philosopher is all about achieving greatness by isolating you from it. One path leads to integration and a kind of healing. The other one leads to elevation, but through total separation. And this leads us to a really dramatic clash over their role in civilization itself. Is their job to save our culture or to burn it all to the ground? The wise old man is the ultimate preserver. He's the one who carefully carries the sacred fire of tradition and passes it down from one generation to the next. For Jung, this is absolutely vital. It's what keeps a civilization healthy and stable, what stops it from being swallowed by its own destructive shadow. The philosopher of the future, on the other hand, sees himself as a necessary destroyer. He looks at those same sacred traditions and all he sees are hollow, meaningless idols. He believes it's his duty to apply the knife to the virtues of his time, because real greatness can only grow from the ashes of the old world. And for Nietzsche, this is not just random chaos. It's a precise, surgical process. First, you diagnose the sickness in the old values. Then, you smash the false gods. And finally, you extinguish that fading twilight glow of the past to make way for a totally new dawn. It's what you might call creative destruction. So, what's the end game here? Let's explore the ultimate purpose of these two archetypes. What are they actually trying to accomplish for humanity in the long run? For Jung, the ultimate goal is integration. It's something he called the individuated self. The wise old man is the symbol of that, the fully realized person, someone who's faced their own darkness, balanced all their internal opposites, and finally found a sense of peace. He is the person who has finished their journey. But for Nietzsche, there's no such thing as a finished journey. The philosopher represents the self-overcoming of man. That's a state of constant becoming, of always pushing forward, which rejects the very idea of a final stagnant peace. He's never finished, he's never whole, he's a bridge to something higher, a prophecy of a future kind of human that we can't even imagine yet. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The philosopher completely rejects the comfort of wholeness. He actually wants his life and his ideas to be a challenge, a question, a problem that future generations are forced to wrestle with. His legacy isn't meant to be peace, it's meant to be provocation. So, after all that, after this epic showdown, what are we actually left with? Well, it looks like it all comes down to two profoundly different ways to move forward. At the end of the day, they represent two totally different ways of dealing with the chaos and the darkness that are just part of being alive. The wise old man, he negotiates with the shadow, trying to find balance and integration. He's a stabilizing force. But the philosopher of the future, he declares war on the shadows, using them as a dark background to make his own self-created light shine even brighter. He's an illuminating force. And this might be the sharpest way to see the difference. The wise old man represents the end of a personal, psychological journey toward wholeness. The philosopher of the future represents the violent beginning of a whole new historical era, a new kind of human power. Which, of course, forces us to ask a really tough question about our own time. In an age like ours, with so much instability, do we need the stabilizing anchor of the sage who connects us to our shared past? Or do we need the dangerous adventurer who's willing to shatter the old world to create a new one? In the end, we're left with this really powerful choice. It's between the wisdom of the grave, that deep, settled, ancient truth of the past, and the philosophy of the future, the creative, dangerous, and never-ending potential of what is still to come. The choice, it seems, is ours.